Good morning. It's Susie here, and today we're going to be doing breathing. So just a few positions, a little longer holds, and a lot of focused attention on the breath. And the image I want to start with is this movement of your breath in your body like this. Yeah. A lot of times we think about our breath as this separate function, but the body I like to refer to as the mechanical pump, right? Because the relative suppleness in our body will have an impact on how that air comes in and becomes breath and how that breath moves through our body. Really important for people who are coming off of ventilators and who've been just generally, if they've been sick, period, whether it's been COVID or otherwise. But the idea is we want to help improve that suppleness so then as the breath comes in, we can expand really, really nicely. And this idea of whole body breathing, right? So we've got pelvic floor below, right? Ribs coming out to the side. So it's all directions that we're moving. Now, not all of us move all directions because we've got limitations and tightness and strain and all that. But that's what this practice is about. It's about helping your awareness of your breath, helping the suppleness of your body so you have a little bit more of this today. Okay? Let's get rolling. So you're going to need a roller and a sandbag or a bag of rice. And if you've got one, a straw. Okay, so we're going to begin on our backs and bringing the ankle to the knee. Now remember here, right? The pelvis is quiet. The leg lifts and rotates and places on the knee. So the pelvis is staying quiet. Yeah. And I just want you to be easy through here. And just feel your breath in this position. And if you're joining me here at about 5 a.m., which is what time it's here in Calgary, you may have just woken, or maybe you're just going to bed. Who knows, right? But just notice how your body feels, how your day or your sleep was with you, and how you have been with your day or your sleep. And then place your hands in the crease of your hip flexors and start to move into a rotation. And your pelvis will move and come off the floor. Your shoulders will stay easy on the floor. And your hip flexors will not engage. So the control of this movement is through the abdomen. Yeah. But I want you to let your abdomen respond as you easily breathe. Yeah. Now don't be surprised if you can only go a little bit of the way without those hip flexors engaging. That's okay. I mean, you can even do this with them engaging. It's not a bad thing. But if you really want to improve your movement within the plane that we are currently moving, then just give it a try and just see where you're at. I always find it amazing when I'm working on a project and I'm sitting for a period of time, how that changes my ability to rotate. And it's just so interesting to notice the response of my body to different positions. So there's a real curiosity. Bring that foot down and bring it up. And that's what I really hope for you, particularly if you're new to watching this, is that getting out of pain is totally possible. I don't want to set that up like some crazy expectation. But it's possible. Our bodies and our minds are so plastic. They're so changeable. You just haven't found it yet. Yeah? And so discovering our movement and discovering our movement patterns and our breathing patterns is so important and significant and impactful to the whole process. Yeah? Good. And then bring that ankle off. Okay, so now from here, just feel where your feet are on the floor and notice if you imagine your feet are in sand and there's an imprint of the foot in the sand, to get a feel for that. You're not going to push your foot in, just let your foot sink into the floor. And then feel your pelvis and feel your shoulders and feel your head. And again, bring your hands to the crease and then start to move your legs wide. So you're into rotation of your leg bone in your hip socket. The articulating joint is the leg bone in the hip socket. My foot is going along for the ride, so I'm coming on out to the outside edge of my feet, but I'm not sliding my feet into each other. Yeah? So we're not doing a Baddha Konasana. We're not doing a bound angle pose. We're doing a butterfly. So the movement is dynamic, and we're coming onto the outside edges of the feet. Your heels aren't sliding in. And so really be watchful, because it's easy for the feet to kind of do whoop, like the feet just sort of slide in. And that's an indication that something's not quite right at the hip. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that you're moving beyond what your hip is actually capable of. Yeah? Okay, and now bring this back. Lovely. And now roll over. We're going to grab the roller, and we're going to move into a child's pose. All right? So from here, let me swing back just a little bit. We're going to bring that roller forward. Now you could just do child's pose. You can have a bolster underneath your torso or however you support yourself. I'm going to add a little bit here so our arms are forward, and then you can always take the roller off to the side and reach that out to the side. So you'll see that my hips are still on my heels, and all I've done is side bend. Good. And then let's come to the other side. And think back to, if you started with me at the beginning of the class, think back to the sphere that I was pulling wide, right? So now, as we do a second round of this, think about your rib cage moving, not with increased volume of breath, but that you can direct your breathing to your rib cage. Your focus and your awareness can be on your rib cage. Yeah? Feel that breath. Feel the movement. And then bring the arms over. Good. And then reach the arms out to the side. And breathe in through the side of the ribs you're moving away from. There's such a lovely quieting piece to this breathing practice. And just breathing practices generally. And that if a place of quiet feels good but is not a normal place for you to be, consider that as you're building this new pattern of quiet, this can become your new normal with a little bit of practice. It's like I said earlier, we really can change. Our systems can change. Our tissue can change. It takes some consistency for sure, and some practice. But our current state can change. Okay, great. Now we're going to move into legs up the wall. Now I'm going to turn my back to you because I'm going to use the wall in behind me. But something I want you to keep in mind is as you come to legs up the wall, you'll see this pelvis here, is that we want the pelvis to be about this. So sometimes when people come up into it, they tilt the pelvis like this, right? Or they tilt it this way, or they go this way or this way. They really can do many different things. But I want you to keep that pelvis just like this. So notice if you have a tendency to just push right up to the wall right away, and then your pelvis tilts a bit, or you have to push your pelvis back down. All right, just notice all that stuff that you typically do. Right, be curious about what it is that you do. Okay, so we're coming up. Just like so, yeah. And now I just want you to breathe. And if you want, you can also take your roller and lift your hips up and stick the roller underneath your hips. Like you could do that too. And how you choose is how does it feel? And if you love it, then stay here. If you're like, I'd rather be down, then come down. They're different orientations of your pelvis. But if your pelvis is down, I want your pelvis to be as not tucked or tilted as you can, okay? Just keep it as easy as you can. And just easy breathing here. All we're going to do is imagine that the legs can sink into the pelvis. Imagining that pelvis like mud and the legs like wooden telephone poles. And just letting them sink into your pelvis. Easy breath. Five more breaths here. Okay, and one more breath if you haven't finished yet. And then come off of the wall. And then lie back. And then just rest here in this hook lying position with your knees bent, feet on the floor. And now notice what it is that you feel. And then reach one leg out, bring the other knee in, and bring that leg, the one that's into your body, bring that leg across and come into a twist. So your shoulders are staying on the ground. Your pelvis has come obviously into that rotation element. Good. And then come on back. Now what's interesting with coming into a twist like this is there's all these little sneaky compensations. So one is that as you bring yourself into that twist, you can sort of slide down through your body and you'll notice that your chin sort of sinks in like this. So notice if that happens, because you want to have your pelvis and your torso. That's what's really coming into that motion. And if that shoulder wants to lift, then that's going a bit too far. I like to keep an anchor point with the shoulders so that the twist can really express itself for where it's at. Now you'll see that my head is turned towards you. You don't have to do that. You can have your head up towards the sky. I just want to look at you. That's why I'm doing my head like this. Okay, good. And then bring that back. Good, lovely. And then just lie here for a moment. And notice what you feel. And then grab your sandbag or your bag of rice. And you can place this here. Now, if you want sandbags, I've got some empty ones that we can send to you, and you can fill them with sand. You can fill them to whatever weight you would like. So just send us a DM if you would like that. You can also find them on our store at Functional Synergy. If you're looking for a nice long sandbag, we've got them. So what I've done is I've placed it on the pelvis. So it's on the 2 hip bones and obviously on my soft tissue in between them, but it's not up at my navel. So it's right in the crease of my hips. And we're just going to easy breathe here. My voice will trail off, but I'll still be here with you, giving you reminders to come back to your breathing. And as always, if this does not work for you, then by all means take the sandbag off. Coming back to your breath. There's nothing to do with the sandbag. Just let it rest. Coming back to your breath. Stay with me. Stay with your inhale and your exhale. Feel the form of your body. All right, a couple more breaths. And then take the sandbag off and just pause and notice the result of that. And then roll on over, and you can come into kneeling. You can also use the roller to lie to sit on. You can also go right back onto the floor if you want to be on your back. But I've got a bamboo straw here. I love these bamboo straws for the straw breathing. But if you've got a straw, then what you can do is place a straw in your mouth and breathe in through your nose and out through the straw. So let me come up close. So here it is. What I love about the bamboo straws that I have is that when they came, they have different diameters. So you really can choose one that works the best for you, whereas the typical plastic straws are only one diameter. And for some people, straw breathing can be very anxiety driving. So with this one, you can really play with it. And of course, if it's still anxiety driving, then I'll show you something else that you can do. But let's start here. And breathe in through your nose and out through the straw. In through the nose. So it's in the nose and out the straw. Now, if you find that this doesn't work, you can always take your tongue and curl it. Breathe in through your nose and out through the curled tongue. Yeah. Now, the curled tongue piece is a genetic thing. So you might not be able to do it just because of your genes. So if that doesn't work, you can always come back to sandbag breathing or just sit quietly and breathe. Okay? Choose which one makes the most sense. One more cycle, and then let the straw come down and just feel yourself breathing. And now notice what that feels like in your system. And if quiet, calm breathing is a new normal for you, if that is what you're experiencing, then this is a possible long-term experience that you can have. Because your system has demonstrated it can do it. Now it's a matter of practice. Bring your hands together and breathe in with ease and out with gratitude. Namaste. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.